Yes. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me clearly? Right. Okay. Yeah. The topic of today that I'm going to share with you is technology in learning pronunciation. I'm from the Department of Linguistics, Faculty of Arts, Chulalongkorn University. You can call me Ajahn Bang or Aj.Sujinat. Um, as we are art students, so technology is not what all of art students are um, like it could be difficult for us to use like a very advanced technology. So today, the technology that I select to share with you guys are a very simple one, like three types of a technology that I want to share with you today. The first one is speech to text and text to speech technology. The second one is how we can digitize and visualize the sound. When we talk about the pronunciation, we may think of like a something to hear or something that we listen to, but actually we can view or we can like see the abstract unit to be more concrete unit of a speech analysis. And the last one is to share with you like some strength of learning pronunciation in digitally mediated spaces. Like I'm sure that most of you use a social media like Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, something like that. They would be very good for you to learn pronunciation as well. And as we are art students and I'm from the Department of Linguistics, so I will share with you some linguistic concepts, which are very helpful to you to like have more insight about pronunciation. The first one is that the goal of choosing technology. The first one is that the tool would be appropriate to learning objectives that they have a set of the goal that you want to achieve. And quality and accuracy would be very important because if you technology, you should be able to rely on that, right? And so the quality of the information or the evidence provided by the technology would be accurate. And for sure, it would be like good for us that it is so practical. It is easy to learn and very easy to use. It would be very difficult for us if you want to to write a code or something more advanced technology to learn the pronunciation of English. So the technology should encourage us to use them. And the last one is cost. It should be free and inexpensive because we have to use them in our like in practical way so that it would be very helpful if it is free of charge and inexpensive. And it is very easy to access. It is very easy to use. Like the online would be very good point. So first of all, I would like to ask all of you, what is your goal of learning pronunciation? Do you have a goal of learning pronunciation? Your major is English, right? Right. Okay. So what are your goal of learning pronunciation? Have any goal? Anyone would like to share? Okay. We as a student major in English, so I'm sure that we have our goal to pronounce sound in English correctly, properly. So what is correctly, properly, in your opinion? Okay. Okay. Now, so I would give you some key concepts. Pronunciation, accent. Right. Ah. Do you have anything to share? Pronunciation and accent. How different between these two keywords? Pronunciation and accent.
think you can just call the student name of Ajahn they have the nickname and numbers.
Oh, okay.
You can call them.
Okay, this is a good policy when we come into the silent mode. Okay, book up. Do you have any ideas about pronunciation and accent?
I think the pronunciation part is just somewhat generic things of speaking the foreign languages, but the accent is I don't know how to describe it, but the accent is depends on what dialect you're at.
Okay, good. Okay, I heard a very good word, dialect. Okay, dialect is like a variety of a particular language related to the region. Okay, good. So what about we as a Thai speakers, Thai native speakers? Should we consider that we have a dialect of English?
I wouldn't prefer that way.
Okay, good.
Because different region in Thailand have different kind of a language.
Yeah.
Even though it's considered a Thai.
Yes, good. Thank you, Book. Actually, for the dialect, it is used when it is a variety of English, which is English as an L1 language, but we speaks English as an L2 or a foreign language. So we won't consider ourselves that a dialect of English, but we could consider that Thai speakers have an accent. Okay. I would like to hear from you more. Mean ครับ Mean ครับ Do you have any ideas about accent? I mean, don't forget to unmute that microphone. Okay. Yeah, please.
In my opinion, accent is like how people from like any region pronounce like words and phrases in their own way.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And it's different from a native language.
Okay, thank you. The keyword is your own way, different from native language. Okay, accent. What do you think about Thai accent? Okay, Oat ครับ What do you think about Thai accent?
Thai.
Does it really exist, Thai accent? Thai accent. Thai accent of English. คิดว่าเรามีสำเนียงไทยกันไหมครับคิดว่าสำเนียงไทยมีอยู่จริงไหมครับ What do you think? Oat ครับ I just saw you unmute your microphone. Anything to share? Thai accent.
It's an ordinary way that Thai people speak in the foreign.
Yeah, okay. So it's like the phoneticalization of sounds of English produced by Thai speakers are rather different from those of native speaker, and it is very unique for most of Thai speakers. So it would be called Thai accent, right? This is a very important view. Because when we think about pronunciation, so we have to set our goal. that we want to have like a very good accent. Good accent need to be discussed as well. Like we would like to have the accent similar to some main variety of English, like RP received pronunciation or American English. And should we have like it is okay to have a Thai accent as long as it is recognizable, it is understandable. So you have to set our goal. You have to set your goal that, okay, I want to have very accent similar to native speaker of English, or I just want to communicate. And for pronunciation these days, it is very like a very it is very open-minded for scholars. Like we have like a word Englishes. As long as it is recognizable, if the listener or someone you are talking to can understand the meaning that you want to convey, it is okay. So first we have to make sure that you are clear with the pronunciation and accent. Let's start with this sentence. Today we have a speech test. Today we have a speech test. If you want to pronounce this sentence with Thai accent, what would you say? Thai glitch pronunciation of this sentence. Today we have a speech test. Tao have.
Say in Thai accent.
Yeah, Thai accent.
Today we have a speed test.
แต่สำเนียงดีเกินไปครับเอาแบบ Thai accent กว่านี้ อันที่สำเนียงดีเกินไปครับขอแบบ more Thai
Okay. Today we have a speed test.
Okay, today we have a speed test, right? Okay, it tests. Yeah, if it hears someone speaking like this, we can know the native language in the English. Today we have a speed test. For like the transcription of English version, it is with the phonemic transcription here. Is it today we have a speech test? But when I ask Dao to pronounce this with a Thai accent, she tend to pronounce it as today we have a speed test. Today we have a speed test, or sure, African sound like in speech could be dropped. This is the accent. But the pronunciation is that you have to keep the distinction between speech and speed, right? So if you pronounce the speech word as speed, it is wrong pronunciation because the speech and speed are different sound, are different words in English. So you can see that at first I asked Dao to pronounce this with an accent. They'll try to keep ch in speech, right? Because they'll know that it is a pronunciation of good English. They'll know that we have to keep on the final consonant ch because it is distinctive in English. If you pronounce it as speed, it could make different meaning. So I asked that to produce more Thai and they'll try to adopt it. So we can see that different accent can lead to different comprehensibility, right? And so when we mention pronunciation, that is to make two words distinctive, if that the sounds is distinctive in English. So speech and speed is what you have Thai listeners, Thai speakers have to keep in mind that these two words are different. So the key concept is that you have to focus on phoneme. When we talk about pronunciation, we focus on phoneme. As long as you can keep two phoneme distinctive, this is a good pronunciation. But if you say, or if you speak out and someone know that you are from Thailand, but it is very easy to understand, it is okay. That is to say you have accented pronunciation, but rather good pronunciation. If we quickly call the phoneme is the smallest unit of sound which is contrastive in the language. When we say that it is contrastive, that is to say, it can make two words different. Like we have fish and dish, and we know that fish and dish are different words because fur and der are different sounds in English. So as long as we can pronounce to make the distinction meaning exist, this is okay. That like to say we have a good pronunciation. It is easy to communicate. So fur and der are phonemes. So let's go back to pronunciation and accent. This is your goal, that what is the achievement that you want to focus on? Communication or esteem? If you want to just communicate, and it would be easy for your listener to understand, the focus would be only on pronunciation. But we know that some variety of English, some accent of English is prestigious. So someone set a higher goal, right? Like, okay, so I can communicate, but I want to speak in a British way because it sounds cool, it is sophisticated, or I want to speak that with an American accent because this is very like what most of teenagers around the world do. So it is the goal that you have to set. And you can use technology to achieve the goal, right? So to make you have a more clear understanding about this situation, I would like to ask you a very simple question. What is an apple? What is an apple?
It's a fruit.
Fruit? Okay. So if we ask a little kid to go to the market and want him or her to bring back an apple, we have to be more specific, right? So can you be more specific about an apple? Apple. Fruit is not enough, right? Because he or she may calculate something like mango, mangosteen, or rose apple, cherry. So if you want to ask a little kid to go to the market and bring us back an apple, what would we say to him or her?
A red, round
Red.
shape.
Brown shade.
Or
What about cherry?
green.
And sometimes it's green, right? Good. And what about cherry? It is also red, brown. Right. You see that when I asked you to define an apple, it is quite difficult. So I would turn it this way. Is it an apple? Yes. Right. What about this? Is it an apple? Yes, right. Apple?
Yes.
Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, apple?
Yes.
Yes. What about this one?
Yes. Still
Yes.
apple.
Okay. The last one is would make you have like a more time to decide, but so it is yes. You can see that when I ask you to define what is an apple, it is more difficult than if I show you the picture and ask you whether this one is apple or not. So in your brain, in your cognition, is that you have some abstract units. You have some concepts about apple. And when you see all of these pictures of apple, you can decide without delay that this is an apple. So in your brain, in your cognition, you don't have the first picture as an apple. Because if you have the first picture as an apple in your cognition, the other pictures of apple will not be an apple at all, because they are not exactly the same, right? So you have like one picture of an apple, but you have some concepts about an apple. How would they relate it to pronunciation? That is to say, when you pronounce sound, when you listen to other people speaking English, you may find variations. That is, when I pronounce an apple word or some words, it would be different from you guys' pronunciation. But we can understand exactly that is what I want to say. And the word hello, and you say hello, they will say the word hello, or says the word hello, or all arts pronounce them differently in terms of acoustics property. The waveform are different, but we can understand that the word is hello. And also about the accent. Sometimes we may hear that, okay, this is a Japanese accent, is Thai accent, but we can understand them. So what is the key point is that when you want to train yourself, or you want to train your students, or you want to learn pronunciation, the first step is that you should focus on the pronunciation in terms of phoneme. So when we use technology to help us to help us learn English or pronunciation, it is that we use a machine to check whether our pronunciation is understandable or not. So we're gonna streamline variation to the abstract unit. So it is like a speech perception. As long as your speech production is understandable, it can be processed by the listener, understand the word, or it could lead to the word recognition. It is okay. So we can use speech recognition technology to help us. I will play the clip and let's discuss what happened in this clip. Want to share sound.
Please, Jess.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making
Can you
smoothie.
hear the sound?
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember? Dentist at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
And we're gonna do one more.
Oh, yeah. Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open door.
Wrong voice command.
Open. Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey, open door.
Play on the floor.
Get over the door. Open the door.
Wrong
Open the
voice
door.
command. Error.
Hey, William. With a rock. Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
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 เสียงมันได้ยินไหมครับ ได้ยินเสียงไหมครับได้ยินนะครับ Okay, what happened? What happened in the clip? เอิญครับ What happened in the clip?
I just came in because it says something wrong with my internet, so I didn't watch it yet. Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. Nop ครับ What happened in the clip?
The AI can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, the AI can understand his speech production because of the dental treatment. So this will be a disaster when you cannot pronounce the sound correctly. So it is like in forms of pronunciation. So what happened when you learn the outer language? So there would be two main challenges in a foreign language pronunciation. The first one is merging, second one is substitution, and it could lead to the effect on intelligibility. The first one is that merging. When listeners are hear unfamiliar sounds in the language, they tend to interpret the sound of the new language in terms of the categories of their original language. When brains and ears cannot tell the difference between two similar sounds, they tend to pronounce both of them in the same way. That is, if you pronounce the two different sounds in English the same, it could lead to some difficulties. Like in English, sir and the are distinctive sounds. Like we have sip and zip. Okay, what is a typical pronunciation of Thai speakers? Sip and zip. What is typical pronunciation? Normally, they will pronounce these two words the same, right? Sip, sip. Because in Thai, we have the sound as a distinctive phoneme, right? So later, let's check whether the machine can understand zip and zip pronounced by Thai speakers or not. And the substitution. The substitution is that you substitute the sound that you are not familiar with your native sound. Like this word. How would you pronounce this word? Go.
Go.
Pardon?
Go.
Go. Okay. Or go, right? Go. In English, it is a diphthong to vowel quality. In British, it is go. In American, it is go, right? But what would Thai speakers pronounce this word?
Go.
Go with one vowel quality, right? So it is substitution. Go, right? And a g is a void sound, but most of Thai speakers pronounce it voiceless sound g, go, because we don't have a voice g in Thai, right? So it is substitution. Substitute some sounds with the native sound. So what about these three words? The three words, can you pronounce the three words with Thai accent? ใครดีครับทรายครับ How would you pronounce these three words with Thai accent?
With Thai accent?
Yeah.
Rock, read, river.
Rock, read, river. Okay. Thank you. In ครับ can you give me more possible pronunciation with Thai accent of these three words?
Rock, lead, river.
Lock, lead, river. Okay. In use a L sound, Thai lolling or L sound in English to pronounce the initial consonant of these words. But that side, substitute the sound with a Thai rอเรือ, right? Good. When you use a lateral sound, Thai lolling or English L, so it is merging. Lock, lead, river. So the two words, the two sets of words, rock, read, river, and log, lead, liver cannot be distinguishable because the R and L sound are merged the same sound. And sometimes some speakers would pronounce it with a substitution of a Thai rho รือ. So it is a rock, read, river. It is accented pronunciation, but you can find that these two set of words are different. So what do you think? Which one is more critical? L sound or รอเรือ for communication? Which one is more critical? What do you think? Perth ครับ what do you think? Which one is more critical?
I think most Thai maybe use else น่าจะใช้ลอลิงมากกว่า
ครับแล้วอันไหนมันสื่อสารมันผิดพลาดร้ายแรงกว่ากันแบบ
I think lolling is
more critical, right?
Yes,
because you can distinguish two sets of words, but for เร่อ sound เร่อ Thai รอเรือ okay, it sound pronunciation with Thai accent, but you can understand that okay, เร่อ this one is a R, right? But I won't say that it is a good pronunciation, but you can see different levels of the communication breakdown. So it would lead to the effect of intelligibility. Different degree of accent can lead to different understandability. So I would say that we can categorize the accent and comprehensibility with this. The first one is a heavy foreign accent, very difficult to understand. Second one is heavy to moderate foreign accent, somewhat difficult to understand. Next is moderate foreign accent, almost never difficult to understand. Slight foreign accent, never difficult to understand. No foreign accent, very easy to understand. So if you want to set your goal of your pronunciation, I would suggest that you would start from the level 3. Moderate foreign accent, almost never difficult to understand. That accented pronunciation would be great for communication, right? So we can talk about the technology. Speech to text is very good technology that you can use to check whether your pronunciation is good, is easy to understand or not. And speech to text is speech recognition software. It is available online and it is free for many websites that enables the recognition and translation of spoken language into text through computational linguistics. So compared to speech perception, if you don't have a chance to talk to native speakers, you can test whether your pronunciation is understandable or not by using the speech to text. Speech to text is that you produce speech and the software will convert into text. So speech to text for learning pronunciation, it can be used to test whether how well can a listener or machine understand your pronunciation. Instead of talking to a real human, you can talk to machine and let it jot down what you are saying. And it is to test whether your pronunciation is intelligible and accented. The accented pronunciation, which is understandable, would be converted or translated with a correct transcription, right? And you can test whether you understand the minimal pair, the contrastive sound in English or not. So machine can accept different pronunciations as long as it could be recognized and processed into correct phonological units. And now there are a lot of free online speech to text, like these two websites are examples. So I will show you how to use it. Like okay. This is a very easy one. Speech texter. So if you say something like this, good morning, right? If you speak it with a Thai accent, okay? Good. Patch. Okay. So you want to test whether your pronunciation of English can retain the good pronunciation or not. You would say something like two words contrast with one phoneme, like big, big. Right. For the first time that I say big, the final sound is not clearly pronounced. So I would give the emphasis on the final consonant, emphasize final consonant. So it is big, 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 and big. So it is very the good start to test whether you understand what is a contrastive sound in English. So I want you to investigate this technology. This is a very good example. This is a red rose. When I was young, I was taught that I have to say, this is a red rose. Yeah. My teacher, she is a very old teacher, and she just wanted to make R and L sound distinctive, but with the substitution of a Thai sound, she replaced the R sound with the rò rửa. So let's test whether it is intelligible in terms of machine learning or not. So for the group activity, try online speech to text conversion. First with the minimal pair. Two words, rose, rose, and road. Okay, try to pronounce these two words, leading to correct transcription. And next, pronounce the minimal pair without the contrastiveness caused by different sound system. As a Thai, we don't have different these two sounds, l and r. So most of Thai speaker would say like load and load, or road and road, right? Depending on whether the speakers know the R phoneme or not. So try to pronounce this way and to see whether how the speech to text convert the sound. And next, pronounce it with accented pronunciation. First one is rose or rose and road, and rose and roads. It should be the sound. Sorry, it should be the sound. Road. Okay. The difference is that the dilatation of the vowel sound in English, O sound is a diphthong O, but pronounce it with a clear vowel O, like a Thai, some O. Okay. If your accented pronunciation is not recognizable, try to adjust it. Try to adjust your pronunciation, but try to retain the accent, Thai accent. So by the end of this group activity, you will have a more clear concept about pronunciation in English. Okay, so I will break up the session. Let's have like 5 members in the group. Okay, I give you 10 minutes, and then we're gonna come back to share your findings, your ideas. Okay. Any questions about the activity? Any questions? No? Okay, so I will break out the section. Okay. 10 minutes.ไม่อาจจะยังไม่ได้อยู่ที่หน้าจอนะ
ไม่ครับไม่ไปไหน ไปหาย โอ้
มาเขารู้หมดเลยว่าไม่ได้อยู่ที่หน้าจอ ไม่โลกมันสามารถ move เขาเข้าไปได้นะครับเดี๋ยวเขาจะได้ไม่เขินแล้วเขากลับมาอ๋อแต่เขาต้องจอยก่อน
ให้เขาต้องกดจอยครับพี่แบงค์
อะไร
ไม่เป็นไรครับเราก็ให้มาอยู่กับเราไปก่อน
ค่ะเดี๋ยวสัก10 นาทีครับอาจารย์
เป็นแบงค์สอนจากที่บ้านหรือที่คณะครับ
สอนที่บ้านแม่ครับ เพราะว่าวันเนี้ยที่บ้านคุณแม่เพราะว่าเอาพามาฝากไว้อาจารย์เราหยุดอัดกันไหมครับเราหยุดกัน
โอ้ใช่ใช่
โอเคครับ welcome back so let's wait for some more students. Okay, Cap. Okay. Now I want to hear your voice, and let's start with the group 1. Can you share your findings and some observations? Group 1. Group 1.
คำว่าโหลดเวลาอ่านจริงๆมันเขียนด้วย SE ข้างหลังแต่ว่าเวลาอ่านผมว่ามันจะเป็นตัว Z นะครับ ROZ
ครับแค่นั้นแหละครับอ๋อมีอะไรอีกไหมครับมีอีกไหมครับ
มีแค่นี้ครับ
เดี๋ยวสรุปอีกทีนึงได้ไหมครับเป็นยังไงบ้างครับพอไปใช้แล้วเป็นยังไงบ้างครับเมื่อกี้ฟังไม่ทันขออีกทีนึงครับยังไงนะครับ
ก็เวลาอ่านมันจะเป็น ROZ นะครับ ROZ แล้วก็ตัวท้ายมันจะมีเสียงซื่อนิดนึงข้างหลัง
ถึงจะฟังเข้าใจได้ใช่ไหมครับ
ครับ
so if you want the speech to text to understand and convert the sound correctly we have to pronounce the final z voice fricative clearly, right? Okay, good. So this point of that z sound in the final position is distinctive. It's a very important sound in English. All right. Okay. Any other ideas from this group?
แล้วถ้าแบบ ออกเป็นสำเนียงไทยมันก็อาจจะไปเป็นคำอื่นนะคะ
เช่น can you give you more examples
อย่างเช่นถ้าเราออกคำว่า road อะค่ะสำเนียงไทยมันก็ไปเป็น road ของไลน์ช่องที่2อะค่ะ
I see because the vowel quality คุณสมบัติของเสียงสระใช่ไหมครับ okay so this lead to your phonological awareness that sometimes vowels also plays an important role in the recognition good ครับ any more ideas from this group okay ครับ thank you next group 2 group 2 กลุ่ม2ครับกลุ่ม2มีเพิร์ดโอ๊ตมีนอินบุ๊กครับ
ที่ลองไปพิมพ์ดูเวลาออกเสียงภาษาอังกฤษแบบชัดก็คือเราออกเสียงไปก่อนยังไม่ได้ออกให้ชัดมันก็จะขึ้นเป็นRoss หรือคำว่าอะไรอะเดี๋ยวนะคะ
หรืออยากลองโชว์ก็ได้นะครับลองเล่นโชว์ก็ได้นะครับ
ปิดเว็บไปแล้วค่ะ
เอาละโอเคครับ
คำว่า Ross หรือแบบ Rock ที่แบบว่า Rock แบบ BROCK อะค่ะ
ครับ
หรือไม่ก็เป็น road ที่แบบ WROTE อย่างนี้แทน
อันนี้เป็นผลมาจากอะไรคิดว่าครับ
น่าจะแบบว่าคืออันนี้ของหนูที่ออกเสียงเองน่าจะแบบออกเสียงไม่ชัดหรือแบบว่ามันจะอยู่ในกระพุ้งแก้มอะค่ะเวลาหนูออกเสียงก็เลยแบบต้องพูดให้มันชัดๆดังๆแล้วก็แบบเน้นแบบ road หรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแต่ถ้าเป็นของไทยเหมือนมันน่าจะจับง่ายกว่าก็คือแบบพูดไปแบบroad อะไรอย่างนี้มันก็ขึ้นให้
อยู่ใช่ไหมแสดงว่าบางครั้งเนี่ย some accents เนี่ยก็ would be recognizable ใช่ไหมครับก็สามารถจะพอเครื่องมันก็ทำได้แต่ทั้งหมดเนี่ยไม่ใช่ว่าเราออกเสียงไม่ดีอย่างเดียวนะบางทีเป็นเรื่องแบบสัญญาณ channel ด้วยนะครับแล้วบางทีเทคโนโลยีก็คือเทคโนโลยีเนาะมันก็ไม่ได้ perfect นะครับแต่สิ่งที่ได้คือเราได้ awareness เรื่องนี้นะครับโอเคดีครับanything else for this group okay next group 3 ทอมไมล์พลอยเบย์แต้วครับพลอยครับ
บางทีมัน detect เสียงข้างหลังที่เราเผลอออกเสียงไปอะค่ะคำแรกออกเสียง rose แล้วมันพิมพ์ว่า roast แบบเผลอออกเสียงไปนิดนึงมันก็ detect เป็นคำอื่นแล้วเพราะฉะนั้นก็ต้องแบบระวังมาก
ๆครับเพราะมันถูกเทรนให้จับสัญญาณบางอย่างขึ้นมาครับดีมากนี่เป็นพอยที่ดีมากครับโอเคครับมีอย่างอื่นอีกไหมครับพลอยมีอื่นอีกไหมครับ
เหมือนกลุ่มหนึ่งเลยค่ะเพื่อนออกเสียงคำว่า road แล้วมันก็แบบเป็น road ที่แปลว่าเขียนนะคะอันนั้นเหมือนกัน
โอเคครับเพราะว่าเสียงท้ายอาจจะไม่ได้ชัดมากอะไรอย่างนี้เนาะนะครับมีอย่างอื่นอีกไหมครับที่อยากจะแชร์ของกลุ่มนี้มีไหมครับ
ไม่มีแล้วค่ะ
โอเคครับดีครับเดี๋ยวกลุ่มที่4ครับทรายหมิวนัตตี้อันใช่ไหมครับ
ก็เข้าใจนะคะใช้หมายถึงว่า AI มันก็เข้าใจว่าพูดอะไรเหมือนกับใช้อย่างปกติสำเนียงปกติที่คุยกับมันอะไรอย่างเงี้ยค่ะแต่ว่าถ้าสมมติว่าแบบว่าเวลาปกติอะไรเงี้ยคือถ้าสมมติว่าออก pronunciation ไม่ชัดคำลงท้ายไม่ชัดบางคำเนี่ยมันก็จะแบบว่าไม่เก็ตว่าเราพูดอะไรเวลาแบบว่าที่คุยกับ AI ต้องเน้นแบบ pronunciation ให้ชัดมากๆมันก็จะสามารถจับเสียงแล้วก็เข้าใจต่อได้
ครับดีครับมีใครมีประเด็นอื่นที่จะแชร์ไหมครับ โอเคแต่ในที่ขออนุญาตสรุปเป็นภาษาไทยสำหรับกิจกรรมแรกก่อนนะครับ จะชี้ให้เห็นว่าอันเนี้ยspeech to text นะครับถือว่าเป็นเป็นพื้นฐานเลยนะครับของการฝึกออกเสียง แต่ไม่ได้บอกเป็นธรรมชาตินะ คือสิ่งที่ได้จากการทำสิ่งเนี้ยมันทำให้เรามี awareness ว่าโอเคเสียงนี้เนี่ยมัน contrast ในภาษาอังกฤษนี่นาบางครั้งครูเชื่อว่าทุกคนรู้แหละแต่เผลอใช่ไหมครับแต่ไม่ได้แปลว่าเวลาที่เราสื่อสารจริงๆอ่ะเราต้องออกชัดเวอร์ขนาดนี้ตลอดเวลาแต่มันเหมือนกับการที่เราเรียนกับครูในห้องเรียนแล้วก็ออกเสียง repeat after me ใช่ไหมครับพอเราเห็นการtranscribe ผิดอ่ะถอดมาผิดอ่ะเราก็ต้องคิดแล้วเฮ้ยมันผิดที่ตรงไหนครับเพราะฉะนั้น speech to text เนี่ยมันใช้ที่จะช่วยให้เรามีphonological awareness ให้เรามีการตระหนักรู้ว่าเสียงเนี่ยมันมีสถานะในภาษาอังกฤษและ2ครับมันช่วยทำให้เราคิดว่าสิ่งที่มันผิดพลาดเนี่ยมันผิดมาจากอะไรครับในระดับของ single sounds หรือ single words นะคำพอเราพูดลิงก์กันนะมันก็จะเห็นการเชื่อมโยงอีกแบบหนึ่งที่แตกต่างกันแล้วก็เพราะว่าบางครั้งเนี่ยพูดแบบ with accent เนี่ยก็ยังฟังออกเลยนะครับสิ่งนี้ชี้เห็นว่าไม่ได้แปลว่า accent มันจะเป็นสิ่งที่แบบ critical แบบแย่มากห้ามทำมันก็ทำได้เหมือนกันนะครับโอเคเนาะso based on your findings of the first activity is to maybe have a concept of the accented pronunciation. Sometimes accented pronunciation can lead to the good comprehensibility, but what is the key factor when you use a speech to text is that you have to pronounce phonemes or phonemic sound, distinctive sound clearly. Sometimes you may find that this is not natural, but it is to make you have an awareness about the phonemic contrastive in English. So we have a speech to text, and we also have text to speech. Text to speech is a technology that read digital text around. So it converts the text form to the sound. So I will show you how to use it. Okay, you can use the website naturalreaders.com online, and
Phonetics is important not only for the scientists, but also for anyone who either teaches or learns a foreign language. One of the most important applications of phonetics is in the teaching foreign languages. It allows teachers to examine the differences between the sounds of source and target languages and explain this difference to learners. It also enables learners to better understand and speak the language they are learning.
This is the real voice, but it is manipulated with the technology. So you can put any text in the website, and it can generate the pronunciation, the production, speech production. How would you find this pronunciation? Is this good pronunciation? Is this natural? What do you think? เป็นธรรมชาติไหมครับ What do you think? It is natural?
ก็ natural อยู่นะคะแต่ว่าเสียงมันจะโมโนโทนนิดนึง
ใช่ It is a little bit more. It is a little bit monotonous, but it is to show the distinctive feature. And what is very impressive is that it shows reduced forms of some word like an important instead of important. And if you look at the website, you can find here มองเห็นเว็บใช่ไหมครับ you can have a list of speakers like US, UK, and Australia or Spain. So you have the main varieties of English, US, UK, and some sounds produced by non-native speaker like Spanish speaker, French. And when you change the speaker, it will lead to different sounds produced by particular speaker. So let's try wheel.
Phonetics is important not only for the scientists, but also for anyone who either teaches or learns a foreign language. One of the most important applications of
So you can use text-to-speech to learn pronunciation. The question is, what do you think? Why different speakers are provided? How is this beneficial for learning pronunciation? What do you think? Why only one speaker is not enough? Why the website has to provide different speakers producing the same text? Why? What do you think? What do you think?
Because some people can pronounce differently, and some have different accents.
Yeah. Okay. Good. The same way with the good pronunciation could be realized with different phoneticalization. Think of Apple, the example of variations. So to have a good pronunciation, you have to have a good perception. And if you listen to different speakers producing the same text, it would be helpful for you. It would be helpful for you to generalize the pronunciation. This is a very important concept of linguistics. It is a HVPT, high availability phonetic training. It is shown to be effective in improving the perception of the sounds, and it could lead to improved word recognition. And if we have better perception, it would lead to better pronunciation. So when you learn a foreign language, it would be great. It would be helpful for you. It would be useful if you have an input from different speakers. So there is a reason why when we use text-to-speech, and if you want to use it for learning pronunciation, try to investigate different pronunciation of different speakers, right? And if you listen to different speakers' pronunciation, you may have like that abstract unit on the knowledge that okay, this word can be pronounced this way, important, and sometimes important, but we have to keep some sounds remain distinctive. But for the final syllable, ten or tun, it could be reduced because it is unstressed syllable. If you can generalize the concept this way, you're gonna move from pronunciation to a good accent, right? Okay, so I think we better have like a short break, and then we're gonna talk about the digital transformation. So เราพักกันสักกี่นาทีดีครับปกติเราพักกินกี่นาทีครับ10เรามีพักไหมครับ
มีครับปกติ
พักหน่อยเนาะ
ได้ครับได้เลยครับ
ครับถ้างั้นตอนนี้10:43เรา พัก10แถมไป2นาทีแล้วนะครับ ก็10:55เนาะมาทั้ง12นาทีนะครับ10:55เดี๋ยวเรากลับมาดูกันต่อนะครับโอเคครับขอบคุณครับ Okay. Okay. So after the break, I'm gonna move to the other section. I will start with the digital transformation. And now we are in the era of digital transformation, right? So what is a digital transformation? It is an innovative use of digital technologies to transform traditional ways of doing things. So we change the way we go shopping, we change the way we learn, we change the way we some kinds of entertainments, right? So what about your learning? I would like to hear from you. During the COVID, I'm sure most of you studied online. You are the remote student. So how digital transformation changed your ways of learning? Any ideas? การครับการ109การครับครับเป็นไงบ้างครับ digital transformation how would it how did it change your way of learning change ไหมครับ
quite change a lot. I can learning from anywhere literally.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Anywhere, at any time.
Yes.
Sometimes in time, and did it make you be more self-centered? เราเป็น self-centered มากขึ้นใช่ไหมครับถูกไหมนะครับครับโอเคขอบคุณครับการครับ So it is not only technologies but also learning process. Yes, because of digital transformation, it is no longer constrained by a specific time or place. So you can study from home, and now for some section which is recorded, so you can study later. And when you want to have a tools for learning pronunciation, it will be measurable, developable, and goal-oriented. So you set a goal and you can achieve it by yourself. So it is an approach which is rather student-centered. And what is important is that it could lead you to experience which you can customize it by yourself. So the feedback, learning pronunciation or teaching pronunciation online is very difficult. And now when we study pronunciation, we need feedback, right? So we're gonna move from feedback from teachers to self-feedback. And today I will introduce you the tool that we can use to look at sound. The first one is that you have to digitize voice. If you could recall from the first activity that we use speech to text, you may find that sometimes AI or machine can misinterpret the sound signal. So it would be more accurate if you can look at the sound yourself. So first of all, you should have digitized voice. That is to record your voice, and you use technology as long as the knowledge of the phonetics to help you investigate your pronunciation. It is called audio-visual method in learning pronunciation. Audio to hear, visual to see. Right? It is like that when you pronounce sound, you produce sound, and you can record it. You can record it and digitize it into the sound waveform. And we can use this program Pride, which is free of charge and is available online. Okay, with Pride, you can see the sound produced by yourself. And it is used in many universities around the world to help checking your pronunciation by yourself. Let's discuss this pronunciation of English, the 3 words. How would the 3 words pronounced correctly with good pronunciation? Can you demonstrate this pronunciation? Back to book ดีกว่าครับ book ครับ3 คำนี้ออกเสียงต่างกันยังไงครับสาธิตได้ไหมครับ
เป็นคำว่า what
ครับ
watch แล้วก็ watch ครับ
what watch แล้วก็ watch มันต่างกันยังไงครับ ที่เราเรียนภาษาอังกฤษใช่ไหมมันต่างกันยังไงนะ3คือออกเสียงถูกแล้วแต่ can you explain it phonetically how these 3 words are different?
แล้วมันจะมีการออกเสียงตัวคำลงท้ายกับคำระหว่างกลางไม่เหมือนกันครับ
ครับ
อย่างเช่นคำแรก what ตัวคำแรก what นี่ก็ลงท้ายด้วยตัว t และไอ้คำที่2ลงท้ายด้วย sh ก็จะออก
ใช่ไหมโอเคครับแล้วก็
คำที่3 watch ก็เหมือนพูดว่าไงดีรวมทั้งหมดเลย
คีย์เวิร์ดดีนะถึงแม้ว่านี่ปีอะไรครับปีอะไรครับ
3ครับ
เรียน phonetics English phonetics ไปตอนปีอะไรครับ
เหมือนจำได้ว่าเรียนไปแล้วแต่จำไม่ได้ว่าเรียนตอนไหน
โอเคถึงแม้ว่าจะเรียนไปนานแล้วก็อยากอธิบายถึงจะไม่ใช่เป็นคำศัพท์วิชาการแต่ก็ตอบถูกนะอันแรก the first one what the final sound is stop sound so it is the construction is complete what the second one is wash fricative sound that is the construction is narrow so the air can pass through the narrow constriction with turbulence zigzags ที่ประทับใจคือเสียงสุดท้ายที่บอกว่ารวมกันใช่เป็นการอธิบายถูก the last one is affricate sound it is a combination between stop and fricative that is book share with us รวมกันใช่ไหมครับ stop and fricative sound good so it is a what wash and watch plosive fricative and affricate when we investigate in terms of speech production articulation for stop sound or plosive sound the construction is complete this is that you make a complete closure and for fricative is narrow constriction and for affricate it is a combination between plosive and a fricative sound how are these different words pronounced by Thais 3 คำนี้คนไทยออกเสียงไงครับส่วนใหญ่แล้วโอ๊ตครับออกเสียงต่างกันยังไงครับออกเสียงคนไทยออกเสียงเป็นยังไงครับ3 คำนี้แนวโน้มครับ
สำเนียงไทยอาจจะคำลงท้ายอาจจะไม่ชัดเท่าปกติครับแบบก็จะออกวัดหมดเลย
what ใช่ไหมครับขอบคุณมากครับ This is because in Thai sound system the final consonant cannot be fricative sound like a number 2 and it cannot be affricate sound like in number 3 so most of Thai speakers tend to pronounce the 3 words the same what right so the sound spectrogram or the voice print or the tools that we use to investigate the visualization of the sound can play an important role. So if you look at the sound spectrogram, you will see that these 3 words are realized acoustically differently. The first one is for stop sound. What? It is you can see like the silence of the signal. And for wash, because the final consonant is a fricative sound, you can see like a turbulence noises in a higher area. And the last one, as your friend shared with us, watch, it is a combination between stop and fricative. So for speech signal, you can see like 2 patterns of the sound wave. The first one is like the silence, and the second one is the noises or turbulence. So acoustic properties are based on articulatory processes. So if you want to use this technology to help you learn pronunciation, you're going to have like a model visualization of a native speaker, and you can try to pronounce the same words, and to figure out whether your sound spectrogram, your visualization of the sound is the same or different to that of native speaker. So today I'm gonna illustrate very basic visualization. It is a manner of articulation. When we want to test whether the speaker can pronounce the sound correctly or not, we can put a consonant in intervocalic position. This is the consonant between the two vowels. Like the first one is plosive consonant. Plosive consonant is a sound which is produced with a complete closure, like a p, t. Okay, the definition of plosive is the construction is complete. So if you say pa, pa, the duration, the period of the production of the p sound would lead to the silence, but because you close the two lips, but it is a period of silence related to the pause. And for fricative sound, it is produced with turbulence. So you can see like a noises here, noise. You can see some noise. And for approximant, it is produced with open approximation. So if you compare it with stop, silence, fricative noises, for approximant, you will see like some periodic wave, some signal, like the signal here, right? You can see that you have some pattern of a grayscale signal. So this result from different kind of pronunciation, or word. You can see some signal on nasal. It is less obvious. This is because when you pronounce nasal sound, the volume is lowered and there is some air. There would be some air leaking through the nasal cavity. And so let's back to this minimal sense again for what, watch, and watch. So for what, it is like a silence, watch, and watch. So with the use of sound spectrogram, with the basic information about how each consonant is differently produced and differently realized acoustically, so you can check whether your pronunciation is realized the same as on the speakers or not. And next, what about these set each pair of these two words? Can you pronounce these sets of the word differently? Chat the class. Tao have. Can you pronounce each word in order? Had, hit, heard. Please.
Had, hit, heard.
Good, excellent. Okay, class, I asked you some questions. How this each pair of words different?
มันต่างกันด้วยแบบว่าตัวท้ายเสียงลงท้ายอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
เมื่อกี้แต้วก็เป็นคนอ่านใช่ไหมครับถูกไหมใช่ไหมครับ
ค่ะ
ความน่าสนใจนะครับแต้วก็คือ you think that the difference is the final consonant but when you produce each pair of words the difference is not the final consonant it is something else that is similar to native speakers of English do not make the difference between each word in a pair with a final consonant. The difference is the vowel. คือแต้วรู้สึกว่าต่างกันที่พยัญชนะท้ายแต่ตอนที่แต้วออกเสียงแต้วไม่ได้ต่างที่พยัญชนะท้ายนะครับแต้วต่างที่สระซึ่ง native speaker เองก็ไม่ได้ต่างที่พยัญชนะท้ายต่างที่สระเนี่ย so with the sound wave it could illustrate more correctly insightfully what is the difference so if you compare the word nap and nap so you will see that for nap with the voice b the vowel is lengthened ตอนที่แต้วออกเสียงแต้วก็ออกเสียง had heat ใช่ไหมครับแต้วไปแยกที่สระซึ่งspeaker ก็แยกที่สระจริงๆครับ so with the use of visualization of the sound you can see exactly what is the difference what is the realization of each production so if you listen to the sound of the speakers and with the intervention of the spelling so you're gonna focus on the final consonant right but actually if you look at the sound wave you look at the sound spectrogram you will see exactly that the difference is not the final consonant but is the vowel so with the visualization of the sound spectrogram it could lead to good understanding of the real pronunciation ใช่ไหมครับเพราะถ้าเกิดดูแต่รูปเนี่ยก็จะดูจากรูปก็จะเห็นอะไรที่มันชัดเจนมากขึ้นนอกจากการฟังนะครับเข้าใจนะครับตรงนี้มีใครสงสัยไหมครับหรือมีอะไรคุยกันตรงนี้นะตรงนี้อาจจะเทคนิคอลนิดนึงเกี่ยวกับเรื่องสเปกโทรแกรมอันนี้ให้ดูเห็นภาพไอเดียว่ามีสิ่งนี้อยู่บนโลกนี้ครับมีใครตรงนี้มีใครอยากสงสัยหรืออยากจะคุยกันไหมครับมีไหมครับพูดภาษาไทยก็ได้ครับตรงนี้ก็ซับซ้อนนิดนึงเนาะมีไหมครับยังไม่มีเนาะนะครับไว้มีก็เดี๋ยวไว้ยกมือถามกันทีหลังก็ได้นะครับโอเคสรุปให้ฟังตัวนี้คร่าวๆนี่นะครับก็คือว่าเวลาที่เราทำ text to speech เนี่ยก็จะว่าออกเสียงนิดนึงเนี่ยมันก็ฟังผิดแล้วแต่การที่เราได้เห็นภาพมันช่วยเราเข้าใจได้อย่างเคสเมื่อกี้ดีมากเลยครับที่ให้ดูแบบคู่ที่แตกต่างกันhad heat ใช่ปะครับแล้วแต้วก็ออกเสียงดีมากเลยครับแยกกันชัดเจนเหมือนฝรั่งเลยแล้วครูก็ถามแต้วว่ามันต่างกันตรงไหนครับแต้วบอกว่าพยัญชนะท้ายแต่ที่จริงแล้วน่ะตอนที่ครูฟังแต้วไม่ได้ที่พยัญชนะท้ายแต้วแยกที่สระครับภาษาอังกฤษมันมีกฎอยู่ว่าพยัญชนะท้ายถ้าเป็นเสียงก้องเนี่ยมันจะทำให้เสียงมันยาวขึ้นของเสียงสระ native speaker เองก็ไม่รู้สิ่งนี้หรอกนะในตัว native speaker เองก็ออกเสียงแยกที่สระเช่นเดียวกันนะเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดสมมุติว่าเราเรียน pronunciation จากการฟังอย่างเดียวเนี่ยเราก็จะถูก prime ด้วยการเห็นรูปเขียนและสิ่งที่รู้มาก็จะโฟกัสที่ final consonant แต่พอเราดู sound spectrogram ปุ๊บเราเห็นเลยว่ามันต่างกันที่ตรงสระนี่นานะครับอันนี้ก็เป็น advantage หนึ่งของการใช้ sound spectrogram นะครับโอเคนะครับ Okay so when we learn anything we need to have like evaluation assessment right so sometimes we need to decide whether the thing is correct or incorrect but sometimes in reality it is quite more difficult to decide whether this one is black or that one is white so sometimes the answers are not exactly black or white and then sometimes it is like a gray scale so if you listen to the sound you would tend to categorize it into two concrete answers but with the use of the sound spectrogram or with the use of the visualization of the sound you can describe it like with a grayscale So I can introduce like some findings of this research, the effects of the length of lessons on how to English phonology. It is a fanatic investigation of 6 Hong Kong students acquiring English as a second language. They are studying abroad in English-speaking countries, Canada, USA, and Australia. And sorry, okay. And the first language is Cantonese. And the focus of this study is the effect that the length of resonance on the out to English pronunciation of a student. So the students were recorded 3 times during the first year aboard. The first time is before immigration to our English-speaking country. The second time is at the six month when they study abroad. And the last one is at 1 year after the completion of the course. And there are 3 areas of focus. What I'm going to demonstrate to you guys is the last one, alveolar flap of Northern American English. The word better. How would this pronounce with American accent? Better. Is it better in American?
No, it's better or some kind of.
Yeah, it is better. Good. Thank you, it's better. It is reduced to tap sound. So this is the point that the study want to investigate. So for the first sound spectrogram, you will see that the speaker pronounce it with aspiration t, like in better. And for the second one, you will see that the aspiration is deleted. So it is a close and aspiration t, better. The second one is better. And the last one, you can see very short pronunciation of the consonant, which is similar to American type of flap, better. So with the sound spectrogram, we can see like the development, improvement of the pronunciation. So if you listen to the sound, you just think that, oh, this is good, it is a bad pronunciation. But with the recording of the sound, and if you visualize them in terms of sound spectrogram, you're gonna have like an X-ray of your pronunciation. So you can figure out whether you have a better pronunciation or not. And you can compare it with the pronunciation of a native speaker visualized in terms of sound spectrogram. So this result are aligned with the previous findings that a reduction of foreign accent take place during the first year after immigration. So if you haven't gone to English-speaking country, you can use it with this 3 recordings of your sound spectrogram, your production, or like a 4 or 5 times, and you can see like the improvement of your pronunciation. So this would help you have like a visual feedback paradigm, and you can feedback your pronunciation by yourself. So you don't need your teachers much compared to the past, as it used to be in the past. So you can start with the initial self-recording. You record your voice by yourself, and then the teacher can give you guided visual analysis. Like, okay, if you pronounce the sound correctly, how would it be visualized in terms of sound spectrogram? And you can keep practicing and re-recording and to see whether the sound has changed towards the pronunciation of the speaker or not. And if you are interested in this technology, you can report to investigate your production. Okay, so I will illustrate how you work with prompt. like a short introduction of pride. Okay. Pride. The moment. Okay. Okay. It is the Pride program. If you want to record the sound with Pride, you can go to new and I have to share computer screen. So you see the program Pride, right? เห็นเป็นหน้าโปรแกรมใช่ไหมครับ เห็นไหมครับ
เห็นค่ะ
เห็นนะครับโอเคครับ so you can start record your sound here with the new audio record mono sound and here are the default setting in the sampling frequency at 44,100 ตรงนี้เป็นค่า default ที่ใช้ได้ดีที่สุดนะครับแล้วก็กด duty to record you say day today today and stop now save to list and then choose view and edit here อันนี้เห็นเป็นหน้าคลื่นเสียงไหมครับเห็นเนาะเนี่ยครับก็จะมี today ให้ดูใช่ไหมครับ today อันนี้ไม่ต้องใส่ใจมากคือรู้ว่ามันสามารถจะ illustrate ภาพออกมาได้นะครับถ้าใครสนใจไว้ถ้ามีโอกาสเดี๋ยวจะสอนดูแต่ว่าอ่านแล้วก็ดูอันนี้จะต้องมีต้องมีแมนนวลนิดนึงถูกเทรนนิดนึงหลังๆคนก็ใช้วิธีการนี้เยอะมากเลยในการสอนการออกเสียงนะครับเช่นสอนภาษาอังกฤษให้ชาวต่างประเทศสอนภาษาไทยคนต่างประเทศเนี่ยก็สามารถใช้มีไกด์ไลน์ของการดูภาพแล้วก็ให้ออกเสียงแล้วก็เทียบกับภาพแบบไม่ได้นะครับอันนี้แค่ introduce ให้เห็นว่ามีสิ่งนี้อยู่บนโลกนะครับโอเคครับโอเคครับokay we have talked about segments segments is a consonant and vowel this is a very obvious unit of a sound it is very easily recognized because when you pronounce a consonant you can say the constriction of a sound very clearly and the vowel is also the consonant attached to the unit but we keep in mind that apart from segments you can have super segments that is stress intonation right so for stress intonation it is very difficult for non-native speakers of English to acquire it at first time because it is different in terms of sound system but you can have a knowledge about the super segments with a lot of experience of learning English so when you learn pronunciation in the foreign languages there are two types of knowledge. The first one is explicit knowledge. The second one is implicit knowledge. What is explicit knowledge? Explicit knowledge is obvious knowledge that you are taught in the classroom. If I compare it to or when you how to use the camera, it is like you're gonna have a manual and you know that you have to press this button and you have to do it this way. So when you learn English as a foreign language, if you have explicit knowledge, it is that I tell you that f and v are different due to the vibration of the vocal fold. F is voiceless, that is, it is produced without the vibration of the vocal fold. But for but you can sense like the vibration here. This is an explicit knowledge. Or when I tell you that the, the are produced with the same place of articulation, the same point in the vocal tract. It is an alveolar, right? It is an explicit knowledge. It is what you are taught, you are informed, obviously, explicitly. But sometimes you can have like implicit knowledge. That is, you are not taught, you are not informed, you are not told explicitly, but you have a generalization of the pronunciation of the speakers or speakers of English, and you streamline all the variation and generate like the concept of the pronunciation. This is the way that in the past, if you want to have a good accent of English, or if you want to communicate well in English, you better go to English-speaking country. And with you're living in English environmentally context, so you can understand, okay, how the sound is produced correctly in English. So with the online platform in digitally mediated spaces nowadays, it's very easy for us to have this knowledge. Okay, so for implicit knowledge, it's like when you learn how to bike a bicycle, how to ride a bicycle. You know that you have to pedal this way, but if you want to be good at biking, you have to transform your experience to your expertise, right? Yes, okay, let's go back to the online platform or digitally mediated spaces. Nowadays, we have a lot of video chat online. And the difference of the video in the traditional way is that it's gonna be formal and sometimes it's boring. But with a TikTok or Facebook reel, you can have like a short video with a focus and a perspective. The perspective and the way you see the video, you watch the video, you can see like the speaker very clearly. And all of these are very important for learning pronunciation. So I will play this clip for you, and I'm going to ask you whether this clip equips you with implicit knowledge or explicit knowledge, and why. Okay.
คำที่ขึ้นต้นด้วยตัว R ออกเสียงยากแม่นบ่เดี๋ยวมาดูกันว่าเรานี่ออกเสียงถูกกันกี่คำ
เสียงดังไหมครับ เสียงมันโอเคไหม เสียงมันได้ยินไหมครับ ได้ยินไหมครับ โอเคครับ เดี๋ยวมาดูว่าเขาใช้ความรู้แบบ implicit หรือ explicit และราคา
มาดูกันว่าเราออกถูกกันกี่คำ rain บ่แม่นเล่นจังซี่บ่ได้เด้ rain เทคนิคคือคุณออกเสียง r แล้วก็ rain แบบนี้มันสิง่ายขึ้นเด้จริงๆ really หรือว่า really ก็ได้แต่บ่แม่น really จังซี่หนูเคยออกตอนปี 2หนูพูดเลย really I really love you ฉันรักคุณจริงๆนะยากกว่าการออกเสียงตัว R ก็ acting หนูนี่แหละสู้บ่ต้องเฮ็ดตามเด้อสีแดง red
Okay ครับ What do you think? Can you share any ideas about this clip? อะไรก็ได้ครับ ดูคลิปนี้แล้วรู้สึกว่าอยากแชร์อะไรแบบมันมี knowledge แบบไหนครับ แล้วมันช่วยเราเข้าใจได้มากขึ้นอย่างไรครับโอเค Anyone ครับมีนครับเห็นมีนเปิดไมค์ครับ
เหมือนตอนเขาพูดเขาจะเน้นคำหน้าอย่างตัว R แล้วก็ตัวสระด้านหลังอะค่ะแบบ rain กับ rain ก็คือจะเน้น R แล้วก็ A อย่างเงี้ยค่ะคำข้างหลังก็จะเขาเรียกว่าตัวสะกดด้านหลังก็จะแบบเสียงแผ่วลง
แล้วมันเป็น implicit knowledge หรือ explicit knowledge มีนคิดว่ายังไงครับ
จะ explicit knowledge นะคะ
มันก็เป็น explicit knowledge แบบไม่มาก เพราะว่าเขาไม่ได้บอกว่าลิ้นไกปุ่มเหงือกใช่ไหมฮะ แต่เขาทำให้ดูเนาะแล้วโฟกัสของภาพเป็นไงครับ เห็นแบบอวัยวะภายนอกค่อนข้างชัดเลยใช่ไหมครับ ถูกไหมนะครับสิ่งเหล่านี้ครับมันช่วยคือมันไม่ใช่เพียงแค่เขาอธิบาย it's just only explanation and demonstration but you can figure out with the close-up video to see like the lips moving and some articulators are moving as well. So it is to point out the difference between the pronunciation of articulate sound with the demonstration of how to pronounce it correctly. So what about this clip
คำที่
อันนี้ครับลองดูกันนะครับ
Fix this really common pronunciation mistake using invisible drums. For regular past tense verbs ending in ed, when the last consonant is t or d, the pronunciation is very easy. We just add id to the end of the verb. Hate becomes hated, add becomes added, counted, decided. Make sure you don't say decide id, but you connect the words, so it's decided, counted. For every other letter, we have to use either this drum, which makes the sound d, 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 or this drum, which makes the sound t, t, t. When the last consonant is one of these letters, we add d to the end of the verb. Lived, remained, stayed, filled. When the last consonant is one of these letters, we add t to the end of the verb. Watched, kissed, shopped, kicked.
Okay ครับ Can you share your ideas with this clip? It says implicit knowledge or explicit knowledge or both or some observations according to this clip มีใครมีอะไรแชร์ไหมครับมีไหมครับคิดว่าเป็นยังไงครับน้ำตาลครับ What do you think
น่าจะทั้งสองหรือเปล่าคะ
ยังไงครับ
เพราะว่าเขาก็บอกว่ามันต้องออกเสียงยังไงค่ะเวลาลง ed แล้วแต่เขาไม่ได้บอกว่าลิ้นต้องทำยังไง
แต่เขาก็ illustrate อย่าง creative เนาะว่าเหมือนกับเสียงดนตรีใช่ไหมครับนะฮะเพราะฉะนั้นอันนี้ก็คือมันคือวิธีการแสดง explicit knowledge แบบที่ใช้ implicit way เหมือนกันนะครับสิ่งเหล่านี้ครับมีประโยชน์อย่างมากเลยไม่ใช่แค่สิ่งที่เห็นคือว่าไม่ใช่แค่เป็นคลิปสอนภาษานะครับ it's just a formal clip for teaching pronunciation but that will be created like with a creative way and also it can illustrate how the sound is produced with a closer perspective when you see the TikTok right so do you know that speech perception is multimodal? When you wear masks, do you have any difficulties understand what others say to you? มีปัญหาไหมเขาใส่หน้ากากเนี่ยคุยกันมีปัญหาในการสื่อสารไหมครับมีไหมมีบ้างไหมครับ when you mask or talk to other people wearing mask พลอยว่าไงครับ What do you think?
มีบ้างค่ะมันแค่ได้ยินเสียงไม่ชัดเฉย
ๆมันแค่ได้ยินเสียงไม่ชัดเฉยๆแต่สิ่งสำคัญก็คือว่าเราเนี่ย lack visual cue เราไม่เห็นปากนะครับทุกคนเคยได้ยินปรากฏการณ์ที่เรียกว่า Merkel effect ไหม Merkel effect it is the experiment that you hear one sound but what you see is the production of the different sound and when we blend two cues auditory and visual you distort your perception ได้ยินเสียงหนึ่งเห็นภาพอย่างหนึ่งฟังกลายเป็นอีกเสียงหนึ่งไปเลยครับเพราะว่า visual cue is very important for speech perception This is an experiment in Japanese and English. Let's first talk about the Japanese and English phoneme repertoire. This letter is the voiced dental fricative. The like in the, these. In English, this sound is phonemic. This is one of English phoneme, but in Japanese, this one is not phonemic. And the study run an experiment, 3 experiments. The first one is asking participants to have auditory and visual cues. So it is found that English and Japanese speakers performed very well. That is, English and Japanese speaker can perceive dental fricative with a very good performance. But when the participants can have only visual cue, this is a visual sound, and see the articulations or the picture of articulation, the movement of articulators. English and Japanese participants also performed very well. But for the last one, only like the sound, just only one cue. English can do better than Japanese perceivers. What does this one suggest? This is to suggest that with the auditory and visual cues, this is very perfect for perception. But if we compare between visual cue and auditory cue, we would find that visual cue is better as a priming the good perception of the sound. But the listening is in terms of the sound that we hear only can perform very low, and it is also related to the sound system, because the English, the dental fricative is a phoneme in English sound system, so English has an awareness that this sound is distinctive. But for Japanese, the sound is not phonemic. It is like a variation of some consonants. So with the auditory cue, it is very weak for perception. So when we learn English, which is the sound is distinctive. So with a visual cue, it could help you understand the difference between the sound with a similar sound. And what about Thai? Do we have the sound as a phoneme in Thai? ภาษาไทยมีเสียง the ไหมครับ เป็นโฟนีมไหมครับ Do we have it มีไหมครับ
ไม่มีค่ะ
ไม่มีใช่ไหมครับ ดังนั้นถ้าเรามี visual cue ก็ช่วยได้ดีมากนะครับงานวิจัยนี้พบมากเลยนะครับว่าการเรียนการสอนภาษาเนี่ยก็ถ้าเราอยากจะมี good pronunciation เนี่ยไม่ใช่แค่สักแต่ฟังอย่างเดียวถ้าอยากจะ learn pronunciation ดีต้องเห็นเยอะๆครับแล้วก็เห็นคนที่หลากหลายด้วยครับอันนี้ก็เป็นตัวอย่างมีงานวิจัยหลายอย่างเลยครับพบว่าไม่ใช่แค่ฟังอย่างเดียวนะครับต้องดูสมัย when I was young when I study English in a section of listening and speaking I have to listen to the sound only so it is quite difficult but nowadays with the online platform and there's a lot of types of video shared online it is very funny amusing and it is created with a very good design so with these digital media it can help you understand and pronounce foreign language very well so to recap a little bit about learning pronunciation in digitally mediated spaces you can find that TikTok or YouTube especially for TikTok which is very short duration with the video sharing application for computers and smartphones, you can access to different kind of a video, and it is very fun to see most of them. And with a smartphone, you can study anytime and anywhere, and it's free of charge, right? And with watching a lot of videos, something like this, you can gain like a explicit knowledge and sometimes implicit knowledge, and both of them are very helpful, useful for learning pronunciation. Sometimes you may be informed very clearly that, okay, these two sounds are different in terms of this and that, but sometimes you just watch and you can observe it unconsciously. And with a lot of experience, like the absorption of this kind of experiences of seeing and watching the pronunciation in terms of speech organs, you can formulate like an implicit knowledge, and it could be very beneficial for you when you learn English. And the TikTok or the clip online, it is short and creative. And the point of view is like you have a closer perspective here, so you can observe the pronunciation process in terms of articulation very clearly. And not like at present, all of us can be video creators. In the past, the person or the organization who create like the learning media or teaching media would be very formal. So sometimes it is from the one speaker with all set of video, or sometimes it is created with the different generations of the creators. So it could be boring. And now, as for the social media, everyone can be publisher, everyone can create a video. So apart from the creative media, you will be obsessed with the high phonetic availability. If we could call high phonetic availability, is very key concepts of training of the pronunciation and the perception. Because when you watch a lot of video spoken or created by different speakers, you can formulate the variation, the differences, and you can like extract the abstract unit, the knowledge that could make you better at pronunciation. And with all of this, like if you have a HPV, if you have an implicit and explicit knowledge, you're going to have a phonological awareness. You're aware that these sounds are different. It is also work for intonation. If you listen to different kinds of game show, different kind of TV program, or different kinds of short clip, you will notice that intonation plays an important role. Okay. So to recap a little bit all the concepts that we have taught together today, it is that I just introduced 3 technology for learning pronunciation. The first one is text-to-speech and speech-to-text. Okay, for speech-to-text, it is to check whether your pronunciation is understandable, is recognizable by the machine or not. And the AI or the machine is a representative of your listener. So in the past, if you want to study like a pronunciation, you have to take a course with a native speaker, and it's going to be expensive. And you're going to have like 2 or 3 times a week to study. But with the technology of speech to text, you can practice your pronunciation anywhere and anytime. And for speech to text, it's going to be focused on like a drilling of the phonemes or minimal pairs. And then sometimes you may think that, okay, you pronounce it very clear, but it cannot be converted correctly. So you have to focus on some sounds. Although it is natural to give emphasis on every single sound when you produce sound, but it can lead you to have more awareness about the phonology to enhance your phonetics and phonological awareness. And for text-to-speech technology, it would be helpful that you want running to native speakers and ask how to pronounce this word, how to read this word correctly in English. So with the text-to-speech technology, you can put in the text, and the text will be converted into the sound, which I think it is very natural. And for some websites, you can have like a different speakers. With the different speakers, it will be helpful for you to have a high phonetic availability training, right? And apart from text-to-speech and speech-to-text technology, we're going to have like a digitization and sound visualization. When you visualize something, you'll use a different mode of observation. So sometimes for some distinction which is perceived with the auditory cue, you may think that different is this way, but actually when you visually represent it, you will see that, okay, sometimes the difference could be this way. And now you can see like a development of your pronunciation. And you can compare your visualization of the pronunciation with the data of the speaker. And you can have like a visual feedback by yourself. And you can have a self-feedback. So you can learn anywhere, at any time. And for the last one, I'm sure most of you use social media a lot, including me as well. So if you look at or you watch like the video in terms of English teaching, you can have like different kinds of knowledge, implicit knowledge and explicit knowledge. And with the default setting of the TikTok, most of speakers close up their face and articulate it. So it's gonna be very helpful because as I told you earlier, for speech perception, it is a cross-modal or multimodal. If you listen to the sound and you have auditory cue with visual cue, it could make you be better at formulating the knowledge about pronunciation. And all of these are technology and learning pronunciation that I want to share with you today. Okay, so you have any questions, comments or discussion? You're welcome.
Do you have any questions to ask Ajahn Bang?
มีอะไรไหมครับ
ภาษาไทยก็ได้นะครับ
ก็ไปลองเล่นๆดูนะครับก็มีหลายอย่างนะครับแบบอยากจะฝึกโฟนีมก็ speech to text text to speech นะครับแล้วก็มี input หลากหลายเนาะจากเสียงคนหลากหลายซึ่งสำคัญมากนะครับแนวโน้มของการเรียนภาษาปัจจุบันก็คือบอกว่าให้มี input จากหลากหลายแล้วเราก็จะ formulate เพราะว่าตอนนี้เราไม่ได้ English เนี่ยมันแบบมัน worldwide นะครับขอแค่มา understand นะครับและทำวิจัยด้านนี้เขาจะว่าเดี๋ยวนี้เขาไม่เช็คว่าออกเสียงถูกผิดแหละเขาจะเช็คว่ามัน intelligible เปล่าฟังแล้วรู้เรื่องเปล่าเนี้ยครับนะครับแล้วก็บางคนก็จะชอบ visual cue เนาะแล้วหลังต่างประเทศก็เริ่มเอามาใช้ให้นักเรียนดู sound spectrogram ตัวเองเนาะสอนภาษาไทยคนเกาหลีสอนภาษาเกาหลีกับชาวต่างประเทศสอนภาษาอังกฤษสอนภาษาจีนเนี่ยครับใช้กันเยอะมากเลยแต่เนี้ยมันมีดีเทลคือให้รู้จักสิ่งนี้เนาะแล้วก็เดี๋ยวนี้โลกออนไลน์มันสืบค้นได้ง่ายหรือใครสนใจอีเมลมาคุยกันก็ได้นะครับแล้วก็สุดท้ายคลิป TikTok เนี่ยใช่ว่าไม่มีประโยชน์นะครับมันทำให้เรามี awareness หลายอย่างเลยไม่ว่าจะเป็นความรู้ชัดแจ้งนะครับแบบ explicit หรือความรู้ซ่อนเร้นแบบ implicit เนี่ยเราเห็นมากๆก็จะช่วยแล้วก็การเรียนภาษาเนี่ยมันเป็น multimodal ครับคือถ้าเราเทียบเอาระหว่างได้ยินกับเห็นนะกับช่วยเรา recognize ดีกว่าในกรณีที่เราไม่ stable เรื่องระบบเสียงนะครับก็ถือว่าเป็นประโยชน์ในหลายทางเลยนะครับ
Okay. Are there any other questions from the class? No, right? Mean is smiling. So, all right. So if there are no further questions, so on behalf of the class, I would like to thank Ajahn Bang for sharing a very useful talk with us. And I think that pronunciation is an ongoing learning process, right? So I mean, we are English learners, and we have always learn how to pronounce different words and new words and things like that. And the knowledge that you share with us today will be very useful for the student in the class. So thank you. ขอบคุณครับเป็นอะไร
ครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
ครับดีครับ
All right. Okay. So we will see each other again next week, next Friday นะครับโอเคขอบคุณทุกคนมากๆเลยครับวันนี้ครับแล้วเดี๋ยวไว้เจอกันวันศุกร์หน้านะครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับ เดี๋ยวมี
สวัสดีค่ะ
ตอนบ่ายโมงครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
ครับ
ได้ครับพี่แบงค์เดี๋ยวตอนบ่ายโมงอีกรอบหนึ่งครับ
โอเคครับเจอกันไป
จริงๆก็คือจะเป็นเด็กกลุ่มเดิมนี่แหละครับก็คือเป็นมันเป็นเอกอิงมี44คนแล้วก็แบ่ง2กลุ่ม
อ๋อ
ก็คือจะ
เป็
เป็น น
อีกเหมือนกันนะครับ ช่วงบ่ายโอเค
ใช่ครับใช่ครับ
ได้ครับบ่ายโมง
เจอกันบ่ายโมงครับพี่แบงค์ครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับ
ครับ